A disclaimer.
Hey guys, so in this video we'll be looking at two fit skills, both the back press and the overhead press. Both of these skills share some similarities, so I thought we'd have a look at them together. We'll be going through how to perform the exercises, how you can make some minor adjustments to give yourself variety when you're working out, and how you can make the skills easier or harder depending on how you're finding them. So let's jump in and have a look. Both these exercises are red or arm-based fit skills in the game of Ring Fit Adventure, and they can be used to attack one monster at a time in the fit battles. They both work by the same mechanism as well, which is registering how much force you're pushing into the ring con when you're doing the exercise. Let's go through firstly how to perform each of the exercises. So let's take a look first at the overhead press. In terms of the setup, you need the ring con to be in that flat horizontal position with the Joy-Con facing down. So take the ring con from there and hold it up above your head with the elbows just comfortably bent, holding onto those handles. You're then, during the movement, going to push into those handles, so squeezing the ring con to generate that force. This exercise is made easier by bringing the elbows further forward, allows you to use bigger muscles in the front of the chest. So you can do that if you're wanting to make it easier, or for a little bit more of a challenge, take the elbows further back, so really out to the side. A little bit like you might see in a movie if someone's being arrested and they've got their hands on their head, elbows out to the side, and then trying to squeeze and generate force from there. The other way that you can make things easier would be the further bent your elbows are, the easier it is. So if you drop the height of that ring con closer to your head, you're going to be able to bend the elbows more, which will make it easier. And then the opposite of that is true. So if we're wanting to make it harder, if we want more of a challenge, try and have your elbows straighter. So if you lift that ring con, the further you take it away from the head, the straighter your elbows are going to have to be, and the harder you're going to have to work to generate that same force when you're pushing into the ring con. Now let's have a look at the back press. So the setup for this one, you want the ring con in the vertical position with the Joy-Con at the bottom of the ring con. You're then going to hold the ring con behind you, about level with the back of your head. Then for the movement itself, holding the ring con in that same position, again, you're going to squeeze into the handles just like we did with the overhead press. In terms of giving yourself some variety with this one, you can sort of play around with it. You can adjust how low or how high you have the position of the ring con when you're squeezing to give yourself a bit of variety. But one other way that you might like to do this one is to work a couple of extra muscles in the neck and the upper back, what some people might think of as the postural muscles. So the way we would do this one is we're going to bring the ring con a little closer to the body so that the Joy-Con is actually touching the upper back between the shoulder blades. Now that's going to mean that it's the buttons of the Joy-Con that are touching your back. So just watch out that you're not too sweaty with this one. You don't want any sweat getting in the Joy-Con itself. So maybe you wouldn't do this at the end of the workout. But if you're not too sweaty, we're going to have the Joy-Con against the back in the shoulder blades. And then the top of the ring con is going to sort of rest on the back of the head. Then before we do the squeeze, we're going to take the chin and just sort of tuck it back. So we're sort of bringing the chin out of a sort of forward pokey chin position, which is sometimes a position we find ourselves in when we're sitting. So we're sort of taking ourselves to the extreme opposite of that position as we tuck the chin back and then squeeze into the ring con from there. Now, don't get me wrong here, it's not that being in that forward pokey chin position, rounded shoulders, is more damaging or more harmful for you. But you can just use this exercise more of a way of giving your body some variety. So if you happen to always sit in that more forward position and it's painful when you do it, then this might be a way to take yourself out of that position. But don't feel like you need to be sitting always in this sort of rigid, tucked in chin position, because that's probably not going to be beneficial for you either. Try and give your body as much variety as possible. Well, those are our 2 fit skills for today. The last thing I wanted to mention though is that the game is only reading the position of the Joy-Con during the setup phase of the exercise. So during the actual exercise itself, when you're doing the movement, it doesn't matter what the orientation or the position of the Joy-Con is. The game is only measuring how hard, how much force you're pushing into the ring con. So that means you can use these 2 exercises interchangeably. So if you only had, say, one of the exercises in the adventure mode and you were doing it over and over and wanting some variety, well, you'd still need to get into the same setup position, but during the exercise itself, you can give yourself some variety and maybe come into the other position, or you could come into a front press position. As long as you're pushing into the ring con, you'll still be able to get those maximum points, maximum amount of damage during the battles. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found that helpful. Leave a comment, let me know what fit skills you'd like me to look at in the future. Feel free to like and subscribe, or if you're just stopping by for a look, well, that's fine too.